Hey team, welcome to Koru-Cottage and our review for MXGP 2020. Now, if you find this review a help, maybe give us a like or a sub, as it will give the diabolical YouTube algorithms that we battle with something to chew on. Okay, so the world of motocross and dirt bikes is not foreign to me. I have ridden MX and more recently enduro race bikes on and off for many years, so I do have context on how motocross bikes should feel and frankly why MX games have never really grabbed me in past installments. MXGP first hit in 2014 and I dipped my toe in the water on the Xbox 360 and, well, hated it. The bike control felt so wrong and clearly the technology just wasn't up to the task. Now MXGP 2020 on the PS5 is quite a different beast, I'm pleased to say. Granted, it is far from a AAA title, so it has some minor failings that must be forgiven, but it is a small price to pay to play what is a relatively niche experience on the console. MXGP 2020 is split into three primary chunks: the career mode, which is racing MX Grand Prix, the exploration mode, set in wide open Norwegian landscapes, and an online multiplayer mode. There is also a custom racetrack builder, which for the creative types is nice, I guess, but it is not what I'm after in a racing game. In the interest of time, I'm going to be a bit brutal here, drilling straight into what's good and what's bad. The unfortunate reality is that the exploration mode is terrible. Beautiful landscapes, etc., but the off-track riding mechanics and how the dirt bikes generally perform is laughably poor. Those who were hoping for a point-to-point Red Bull Romaniacs type simulator will be gravely disappointed. The bikes slip and slide, there's no tactile feel to the terrain, and the variability of the open world does not mesh with the physics engine driving the gameplay under the hood. Simply put, it is just not a reason to buy the game. The multiplayer, I can't comment on, as in New Zealand at least, there are no active servers. None. I could not find a single game to join. When I created my own lobby, I waited for almost 20 minutes and had a single person join. And when we match made into the start of a game, the server disconnected. Now, I retried this 3 times in a row and it happened every time. And look, I have to admit, I gave up. So, suffices to say, I can't comment on the game's online performance. So, with that out of the way, how is the core part of the game, the single player career mode? Thankfully, I can say that it's brilliant. Racing starts with the choice of a bike and a sponsorship deal, then customizing your gear and then just getting stuck in. There is a solid selection of AI difficulty, physics assists, bike assists to help develop confidence, and even weather can be adjusted in the quick game matches. As I said, I have ridden motocross bikes for years, and MXGP 2020 is a strange beast, as it feels better to play than how it looks on the screen. The rider and the bike twitch and float on the screen, but the developers Milestone have nailed how the bike actually performs, particularly around berms and rutted corners. Being able to steer with the left stick, then move the rider's weight independently with the right stick, creates a far more grounded experience than I'd ever seen before in an MX game. The PS5 adaptive triggers give a tactile feel to throttle resistance and when the engine is over revving and losing traction. It's not perfect yet, but a very cool idea. The difference between exploration mode and the race career mode is just night and day. It is clear that the tracks themselves have some clever witchcraft programmed into the actual racetrack surface to allow tighter turns on berms, and it's all bolstered by smooth camera transitions across the racetrack. Exploration mode just feels untuned or even a bit of an afterthought. The tracks are closely based on the proper MXGP circuit, with a total of 19 tracks from the Grand Prix with varied terrain and weather effects. Bikes cover the gambit, including the KTMs, Yamaha, Honda, Husky factory teams, and even the option to just go out as a privateer crutch rocket rider. Sponsors with better earning deals unlock as you rank up, but the bikes themselves feel very samey. I suspect in a bid to keep all the manufacturers happy and happy to be included in the games, all the bikes have essentially identical specifications. And any performance parts bought with the sponsorship money gives the identical benefits to the bike. Once again, I think it's those manufacturers are just happy to be in the game if there's no clear benefit over one to the other. So for example, Dunlop tyres give identical lift and traction as Michelin, etc. This trend permeates the entire upgrade purchase system. So the only reason to buy one upgrade over another comes down to cosmetics and preferred brand. It quickly destroys any illusion of any depth in the upgrade system. Overall, the game's a little light in content and features, but the actual tracks, gameplay, and importantly, the feel of the bikes is great. The multitude of camera angles, including a very realistic first-person camera, is a nice get as well, even though it feels a little uncontrollable at times. There is the odd weird physics occurrence, and the bikes will go mad doing a wheelie for no reason whatsoever, but as I said at the top, this is a niche game, so a few allowances have to be made and accepted. MXGP is a tidy wee package. It has clean UI, an excellent race replay feature, and thankfully a limitless rewind button to redo your inevitable race losing cock-ups, or when the physics go haywire. I love the career mode. One tangible pet peeve would be the design around the audio for the engines. Running a big 454 stroke at full throttle sounds nothing like the real thing. Trust me, I used to have one. And more to the point, there seems to be no penalty for running these big motors redlining constantly throughout a race, where in actual fact they should just blow up. But maybe that's a 2 in real life. You know, as a rider of these bikes in real life, I was pleasantly surprised by MXGP. Milestone has got very, very close to the feeling of leaning a dirt bike over in a hairpin berm, dumping a cog and roosting on out of it. Sure, it isn't feature rich, but I loved it. MXGP will occupy space on my PS5 hard drive for quite a time to come. Anyway, I hope that's a help, and if it was, give us a like, give us a sub, and maybe even swing past Koru-Cottage.com. Thanks very much.